greatest damn show on YouTube. Welcome to this damn show on YouTube. Welcome to the greatest damn show on YouTube.
They coming to see me.
They coming to see the Temptations.
Ain't nobody coming to see you, Otis. You wish you could.
Y'all ready? All right. Oh, man. Double tap the screen, shut alive out. What we doing this morning, chat? Double tap the screen, shut alive out. We got Weekender plug in the building, man. Shiny, what it do? Big Niche, what it do? We got Trump peace deal almost done. What would Charlie Kirk say now? And was Kanye West right or not? Double tap the screen, shut alive out, chat. We got an action-packed episode, man. We're going to get into some of them old Kanye clips and see if what he was saying back then is matching up to what's going on now. Also, the video I got above me is the soybean farmers, man. The soybean farmers are calling out the Trump admin for bailing out Argentina, saying that Argentina is their biggest competition, and they're upset with Trump for bailing out Argentina. We're gonna get into that. Moving on, y'all see it on the title, free speech. It's on its way out if it's not already gone. The West might be gone. The West might be done. Keir Starmer over there in the UK, we see that they trying to go with the digital ID. Everybody's going against it. Now they're putting a cap on how much soda you can drink over there. So if you're grown and you go in a restaurant and you order a soda, you're not allowed to refill. Like, it's just over with. You get one soda. I don't know. It's one glass only. Like, it's not even to the point to where I don't know if they'll let you buy another one or what. They're limiting their soda, the refillable, the fountain drinks, man, not the bottles, not the, you know what I'm saying? The fountain drinks. You can't go get another one. It's over with. Now, maybe if you want to get some water, maybe if you want to get a little, I don't know. They're saying straight up, man. They're limiting the sugar, man. Today is refills. They're saying they're limiting the refills. Double tap the screen, shut alive out, chat. I can't believe they're limiting the refills. You can't even pick. If I go into Sam's, I don't know if they got Sam's Club in the UK. Y'all let me know. But if I go over to Sam's Club and I give me the slice of pizza, you know how you get the slice of pizza and it comes with two of them, or the pizza slice be big as hell in this too. If I go into Sam's and I get this pizza and the fountain drink for the $2.50, chat, and they tell me, hey sir, you can't refill this more, I'm gonna get the scratch on my head, chat. I'm gonna be like this, like, why? Can I buy another one? No, sir, you've reached your limit for the look. I'm grown as hell, man. You can go play with your kids, chat. I'm just gonna be real. Go play with your kids, man. It's crazy. It's crazy. Wait till we get into that. Also, we got a doctor, I believe she's a psychologist. She's claiming that women only want lame men with the money. Women don't really want a real man. Women don't really want a man that's gonna, be a head of a household, keep shit in line. They really just want somebody they can run over with money. Now, this is a psychologist, I believe, saying this. So we're going to break down what the hell she's saying. She going viral right now. I want to know how y'all feel about that, chat. Also, we got the Liberty Hangout. The girl that was telling the girl to get her beer belly off of her. She's back out doing street interviews. We're going to watch that. Also, Nate Friedman posted some guy is, it might be Nate Friedman's channel, but he's going around in New York City asking the Orthodox Jews, are they voting for Kumar or Mamdani? And I want to see that. I'm not gonna lie. I'm really interested in seeing what they talking about. Are they gonna vote for Kumar or Mamdani? Especially since Eric Adams has gracefully bowed out of the race due to lack of funding. Eric Adams has gracefully bowed out of the race due to lack of funding. So I want to see what they're talking about. Also, Tucker Carlson dropped a clip yesterday, or maybe the day before, but he's talking about the IDF soldiers was running shit at the Pentagon, man. We just gonna keep it real. I believe it was the 12-day war. It was one of those wars, man. He said the IDF soldiers was running around the Pentagon, barking orders, telling everybody what the hell to do. So I want to know how y'all feel about that, chat. That was kind of crazy to see Tucker drop that. What else do we have? They're saying incest has been legalized over there in over there across the pond. They say Kirk Starmer, at the request of a Muslim lady, Kirk Starmer legalized in the United Kingdom marriages between brothers, sisters, fathers, daughters, sons, and mothers. I believe they pushed it through as like first cousins, but we got a clip here where somebody's just straight up asking Kirk Starmer, like, do you understand what the you doing, man? Do you know what you doing, Kirk Starmer? And he's like, yeah. I mean, yeah, I know what the hell I'm doing. We finna let cousins marry cousins, moms marry dads, brothers marry sisters. I know exactly what the hell I'm doing. It's crazy, chat. I don't know, man. It's looking like America might be the last thing holding the West up right now. I'm just gonna keep it real, man. I'm scratching my head, chat. I'm looking around, and it's not looking good out here, man. It's not looking good out here. But yeah, chat, double tap the screen, shut a live out. We also got some Kanye clips coming, man. Lala, you got them plain lays ready? We in intro mode, baby. Good morning, chat. Say good morning back, man. We in intro mode. Where that baby go that?
I told my niggas to mark my word, I guarantee that I'm next. I got the arms of a bodybuilder from the way that I flex. Might just hit the strip just to go blow me a check. They know what the fuck I'm on. They say that they got some of the best gas, they call it Southern Joy. Chain on chain and ice on ice like Adam Sandler, I'm Waterboy. I know I'm all in the head. Bad bitch laying in my bed. Wait till I give her a spray. I'm a master with the head. Don't let these social fool you, these niggas broke. I know that they ain't bought it. Ain't got no car but talking shit. Okay, then little walkie talkie. I told that bitch to come home. I ain't got time for no bitch that's healing. Puff the blunt, she called me daddy, and I'm screaming out no dick. I'ma make sure that she come. I'ma fuck her good with my tongue. I know the night is still young, so baby, let's get it in. I know just how she like it tonight. She spicy, she added a friend. They ain't identical, but they fuck alike. So in the bed, I call them twin. I call them twin. Bed, I call them twin. Bitch, and shoot a shoot. 1 + 1 = 2. What you tryna do? Go back for back, check a swoop for swoop. Either way it go, I'm on. Either way it go, I'm gone. Brody them just got like 100 on me, they tryna get them gone. What you call it, Jet Wet? What's the name? And he put it in his song. Brody them got the purest powder, it's pink. You know this shit is strong. No diddy. I'm the type of nigga that turn my bitch up in each city. Brody cut out, we celebrating, we hit the gritty. I'm feeling like a baby, I'm trying to get that milk up out them titties. It's no question who young and the latest. If you want your bitch, then when she talking, hear her. If I want the bitch, I'm going Pittsburgh. Still her. I keep some on the side, I don't have trust in just the main bitch. Suck me up while I'm driving like damn, I'll die by this lane switch. Shit, different type of free, so we ain't never got to tussle. Throw it back like Miss London, the sum of your life be hustle.
Double tap the screen, shut a live out, chat, man. We got an action-packed episode, man. Let me pick a topic, man, to speak on, man. Let me see what's going on. With the Kirk Starmer allowing cousins and family members to marry and stuff. I believe, was it Joe Rogan? Joe Rogan did a podcast where they broke down the numbers of one of these countries where incest is legal. They allow first cousin marriages and stuff, and I think like the birth defects were up at like a 70% rate there. So it's not just like what they're pushing is, the economy's getting bad, it's gonna keep the wealth inside of the household, make it to where families stay closer together and build your community or whatever. But what they're not saying is that Some of those people might have some problems, man. Some serious damn health problems. A lot more. I think it's like upwards of 70%, man. So I don't know what the hell Keir Starmer is doing over there. You said, what did Kanye do now? Nothing yet. But Kanye was canceled for saying all the anti-Semitic stuff. You remember we seen Kanye go through all of this stuff now that people are saying now that's going viral on the internet. Kanye was saying this years ago. He went through hell and back for saying a lot of these things that he said. Now we have the final frontier, which was X. The final frontier of free speech, which was X, is now taking people's check marks, gold check marks, blue check marks. If you tweeting something anti-Semitic, you have a chance of getting ousted over there on X right now. We thought it was the free speech platform. We just seen Netanyahu go up there with those influencers and say, basically, we have TikTok secured. We have to reach out to Elon because he is a good friend of ours, and we need to get this shit together. And it's rolling out, chat. It's already here. We thought X was the final frontier. We thought that Elon spent $40 billion for free speech. That shit's gone. I'm just gonna keep it real. That shit is gone. Posts are being censored. People are losing their gold check marks. I think they have to pay for those. They're losing blue check marks. A lot of people, I'm just gonna say it, chat. Fuck it. It's Saturday. We weekend warriors, man. Everybody who said Elon bought that motherfucker to win the election, man, I'm scratching my head right now, chat. I'm scratching my head. I was with the free speech shit, chat. I was with it, chat. I get on X all the time. I see N-word this, hard ER that. It is what it is, man. It's free. It is what it is. That's the price you pay for stepping into an atmosphere with free speech. But now we see accounts getting, right after CNN puts out the list of the most anti-Semitic creators, right after they put out a top 10 list of the most anti-Semitic people on the internet, we got people on X losing gold check marks, losing blue check marks. So now, OG Pal, Yosemite, where y'all at? OG Pal and Yosemite, I'm scratching my head. I'm damn near ready to issue y'all an apology for saying that he bought that platform to win the election. I'm damn near ready to issue y'all an apology because I thought it was for the free speech. I knew he wanted to, get some push on the election. I knew the election was in there, but I truly thought it was for free speech, man. I truly thought that this is what the shit was for. And I might have been behooved, chat. I might have been bamboozled, chat. I might have been bamboozled, chat. This is crazy, man. This is crazy, man. It's in our face. Do y'all not remember the clip? Netanyahu said, I gotta call Elon. We gotta reach out to him. He's not an enemy of ours. He didn't say he's a friend. He's just like, he's not an enemy of ours. Now we seeing, hold on, let me see, chat. I'm finna show y'all, chat. X is removing gold check marks. The X social media site you're currently reading this from is oddly removing gold check mark badges and all affiliates, with some customers spending upwards of $5,000 USD a month. These target attacks on specific accounts are a large coincidence. With no customer service and rogue employees, I fear we will never know. What is your thoughts? It says uncensored. Wow. Uncensored AI, a free speech artificial intelligence platform not influenced by Zionist funding, had their gold check removed and all 81 of their influencers demonetized. No warning, no explanation. X Creators Fund. What is this about? This is a targeted attack for their views. So they took the gold check mark and they demonetized 81 influencers. 81 influencers, chat. So yeah, free speech, man. The free speech is damn near gone, man. Free speech is damn near gone, man. That shit is crazy, man. I feel bamboozled, chat. Damn. let's get into the show, chat. Double tap the screen, share the live out, man. We're 4 subscribers away from 39,500, man. I hope everybody's having a great weekend, great start to their weekend. But this is right above me is the soybean farmers. The soybean farmers are pissed off that we bailed out Argentina. I believe we gave Argentina what was it, 20 billion? Was it 20 billion we gave Argentina to bail them out? They're saying that that's bullshit and it's hurting the American farmers. Let's hear what's going on, chat.
Well, like we talked earlier, we went from 12 billion to zero, and then, as a farmer, we get up one morning and you give Argentina, which is our second biggest competition in the world. They're the largest exporters of soybean meal in the world. So I get up one morning, I turn the news on, and you give $20 billion of taxpayer money to my competition. And then the Chinese buy, I think the figure is 30 or 40 containers, ships, which is about 65,000 metric tons per ship, which is like 2.2 million bushels. So they buy 12 or $14 billion worth of soybeans from the Argentinians after the tax holiday. And here's the caveat to it. They give $2.30 over the November board. Well, I'm getting 50 cents under the November board. So that makes the Argentinian soybeans about $12.42 a bushel. I think that's the real figure they gave. So all my premium went.
Scott, I just lost you there at the end. You said your premiums go?
They all went to Argentina.
Shit. So he's saying all of his premiums went to Argentina, man. He's saying that they bailed him out for 20 billion, and then the Chinese are getting 12 to 14 billion. Man, that is crazy, Chad. Prayers for the farmers. We know that we covered it last week or 2 weeks ago that 1/3 of the farmers in Arkansas are set to have to file for bankruptcy over the next 12 months, man. Prayers for the farmers. I hope that they can get things turned around. But yeah, it says, I turn on the news and we gave 20 billion of taxpayer money to Argentina, my competition, and then the Chinese buy 12 or 14 billion worth of soybeans from the Argentinians. It's crazy, man. It says his premiums went to the Argentinas and he is pissed off about it, chat. Double tap the screen, shut the live out. Do you have a problem? Excuse me. Put yes or no in the chat if you have a problem with America bailing out Argentina to the tune of $20 billion, chat. Why is Argentina too big to fail? Why is it systemic for us? Why is it systemically important to us? Double tap the screen, shut the live out. Y'all see this right here, man. Let me see what y'all answers is in the chat. Why the F are we bailing out Argentina? That's what I'm asking, Gito. I'm like, damn. Everybody saying yes. I don't know why we're doing it, bro. I'm just gonna. Y'all saying they are systemically important. Okay. All right. This is spotted in Nando's in the UK. It says based on new government laws, we've had to limit Coca-Cola Classic to 1 glass per customer. Grown adults being told how much fizz they're allowed. Today it's refills. Tomorrow your digital ID ticks down a sugar quota. This is the policy. Y'all see it right there, man. It says 1 Coca-Cola Classic, 1 glass only. Based on new government laws, we've had to limit Coca-Cola Classic to 1 glass per customer. If you're still thirsty, help yourself to any of our low sugar, fizzy, bottomless soft drinks. So if you want some Coca-Cola over there, man, your ass can only get 1 cup, 1 glass, 1 bowl, chat. 1 glass, 1 bowl. Straight up. You said we can't bail out student loans, but we can bail out foreign governments. Exactly, man. Damn, that's crazy though, chat. They said they're not messing with the Coca-Cola Classic over there. They're saying that shit's too strong for us, man. Do y'all think Coca-Cola Classic is too strong, chat? Okay, matter of fact, we're gonna do it like this. On a scale of 1 to 10. How strong is regular Coca-Cola Classic, man? On a scale of 1 to 10, how strong is that Coca-Cola Classic in your opinion, chat? How strong is it? At the fountain drink, because you know it's a little difference between the can and the bottle and the 2-liter bottle and the fountain drink. You know what I'm saying? So how strong is that fountain Coca-Cola Classic, man, on a scale of 1 to 10, chat? How strong is that Coca-Cola Classic in your opinion, man? It's crazy. One glass, so you got to switch that shit up, man. Let me see what y'all said, man. 100, 5, 10, it melts rust. You can pour it on your battery if your battery is corroded. You can pour that Coca-Cola on your battery if your battery is corroded, chat. Hold on, let me get my gimbal back together. You said it makes your stomach do black flips. What's up, JD? You can use it to remove rust. I'm not gonna lie, chat. Coca-Cola is pretty powerful. It definitely is powerful. Oh gosh. I hate when my gimbal messes up, chat. That pisses me off more than anything right now, right? Is my gimbal messing up. Like, what? Alright, chat. So this woman right here, she's talking about relationships and what women want in 2025. So I'm gonna ask y'all, where the ladies, get in here right now. Ladies, get in here right now. And we finna listen to this woman, man. We finna listen to this woman. And I want to know, do y'all agree or do y'all disagree? Men. We finna listen to this lady, man. And I want to know, do y'all agree or disagree? Is it a strong agree or a strong disagree? Let's listen to it.
Women do provide us for immature money.
Oh my God, they don't even want to let us watch the damn clip. It's no fucking way, man.
Women do not want this for real. They want mature men. They want men.
Alright, chat, they're not gonna let us watch that motherfucker, man. We're not gonna be able to watch that clip. They gonna hold us, man. That's crazy the clip won't play, man. Let me try it again. I think this clip just messed up. Isn't that what happened this the other day? Because it's not playing good on Twitter either.
Notice, women do not want this for real. They want mature men. Yeah. They want men.
Man, damn, can we get some subtitles or something, man? We can't listen to this woman, man. My bad, chat. I don't know what's going on with her damn video. Maybe it's not meant to be. Maybe it was going to piss y'all off in here this morning. It is what it is. We finna move on then. This is Kirk Starmer talking about the cousins marrying cousins. Listen to what his guy asked Kirk Starmer, man. It says, this is from My Hidden Value over there on X. Incest legalized at the request of the Muslim lobby. Kirk Starmer legalized in the United Kingdom marriages between brothers and sisters, fathers and daughters, sons and mothers. An appeal from one of the deputies of Starmer. Mr. Starmer, do you understand what you're doing? You're legalizing marriages between brothers and sisters, between parents and children. This carries catastrophic health risk for people, many of which cannot be determined until the child is born. If this practice continues from generation to generation, the English people will disappear. Listen to
the
it.
same set of grandparents. A marriage between...
This the leader, chat. I'm gonna keep it real. If Trump got up there tomorrow and said some shit like this, MAGA might turn on him, man. I'm not gonna lie. Do y'all think Trump can get up here and say something like this without his base turning on him? Would Trump's base turn on him if he got up there and was like, well, fuck it, we just gonna let everybody marry everybody. Sons can marry mothers, dads can marry daughters, brothers can marry sisters, first cousin, third cousin, it don't matter, man. If Trump got up there and said that shit out of his mouth, chat, what do y'all think would happen?
A marriage between first cousins carries significant health issues, many of which aren't even knowable until post-birth. When practiced...
Nah, hell no, this ain't fake, Gito. This shit real. I've been covering this for like 2 weeks. No, this shit is real. It started off with the first cousins. See, this is the first that I've heard somebody mention mother and son and father and daughter and brother and sister. It started off as just first cousins being able to marry. That's how they pushed it to the public. But now that they getting ready to put it in the law, this man right here is saying, no, y'all talking about first cousins. This is what's actually going to be going on. Mother, sons, dad, daughters, brothers, sisters. It's like they bring the little Trojan horse in like, oh, it's just for first cousins so we can keep the family tight and we can save money and shit like this. But this dude right here is telling what the hell is really going on. And listen how Keir Starmer responds. Nobody was talking about it, but when he called Keir Starmer ass out about it, Keir Starmer, yes, I'm well aware of it. So you just wasn't gonna tell no fucking body. You just wasn't gonna tell nobody, right? Come on.
A marriage between first cousins carries significant health issues, many of which aren't even knowable until post-birth. When practiced generation after generation, there is a significant multiplier effect. In addition, the real impacts for the openness of our society and women's rights in our country are also significant. After all, there are significant dynamics in sharing the same set of grandparents. On Friday, this government has a choice to let my bill go through to ban first cousin marriage to committee stage. Will the Prime Minister think again before instructing his whips to block this legislation?
Prime Minister. Mr. Speaker, we've taken our position on that bill. Thank you.
That completes Prime Minister's question.
A marriage between first cousins carries significant health issues, many of which aren't even knowable until post-birth. When practiced generation after generation, there is a significant multiplier effect. In addition, the real impacts for the openness of our society and women's rights in our country are also significant. After all, there are significant dynamics in sharing the same set of grandparents. On Friday, this government has a choice to let my bill go through to ban first cousin marriage to committee stage. Will the Prime Minister think again before instructing his whips to block this legislation?
Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, we've taken our position on that bill. Thank you.
That's crazy, bro. That's crazy, bro. Listen, that's the same shit that he said that they put out with the digital ID. What did they say? Oh, I don't know if it's Parliament or whatever the hell it is. I don't know if it's Parliament, whatever the hell it is over there, but they talking about the digital ID. They said any petition that gets 100,000 signatures will be considered for the debate. Well, they ended up getting 3 million signatures almost. And when they got the 3 million signatures saying, we do not want the digital ID, we didn't vote for it, we don't want none of that shit. They put out a statement and was like, basically same thing. We already took our stance on this issue, man. Y'all are getting the digital ID to stop illegal people from coming over here and working and getting jobs. It's going to make everything a smoother process. The democracy is over. That shit's done, man. They don't want the first cousin marriages. Keir Starmer and them like, look, man, we doing this shit anyway. They don't want the digital IDs. They like, look, man, we doing this shit anyway, man. They needed 100,000 signatures. They got 3 million. They don't want to debate it, man. It is what it is. Go to your room and cry about it is what the hell they saying, man. That shit is crazy, man. That shit is crazy, man. America might be the last thing holding the West together, Chad. I'm going, and we might need to get our damn foundation together a little bit, man. That shit is crazy. That shit behooves me, Chad. I ain't gonna lie, man. What? Digital ID, legalize incest. You can't fucking talk or the police gonna show up at your door. You can't share a meme or the police gonna come get you out of bed at 4 in the morning. Like, what the hell is going on, man? Listen, man. If Trump did half of this shit right here, his base would turn on him. Now, I know Keir Starmer's, a lot of people aren't fans of him right here, but I'm telling you, if Trump came over here doing this shit, man, I don't think MAGA will ride out with him on those issues. As far as digital ID, I think that'll be a make it or break it for MAGA, and the incest shit is probably gonna be a make it or break it. It's crazy. This shit is crazy, Chad. This shit is crazy. These folks crazy, Chad. I ain't gonna lie, man. They need to pull these folks in, man. They need to pull these folks in for a damn mental eval.
We have got to the point where literally anybody.
I see a lot of folks need mental evals around the world right now, man. They making crazy ass decisions for everybody.
12-day war, such as it was with Iran.
All right, man. This This Young Turks right here, but this is a clip of Tucker Carlson talking about the IDF soldiers ran the show during the 12-day war with Iran. That's what it was, the 12-day war.
The U.S. and Israel versus Iran. On all sides, there are a bunch of Israeli Defense Force officers in the Pentagon that week. And during that week, when it works at the Pentagon, they enraged American Pentagon staff by just barging into meetings, giving orders, making demands, and nobody did anything about it.
Well, that's not good. In fact, Tucker Carlson engaged in a lengthy monologue about the toxicity of this U.S.-Israel alliance. And that was just one example that he pointed to in regard to that toxicity. And as you just heard him explain, Israeli soldiers were apparently bossing American officials around in the Pentagon during the 12-day war in Iran. It is humiliating for the United States. We shouldn't be taking orders from officials from any other foreign government either. But we have that special relationship with Israel, so this just kind of goes on, and it's unchecked. And I think it's unacceptable. So does Tucker Carlson. It's one of the things that we agree with each other on. So as a result, Carlson has suggested...
I agree with that shit too, Chad. I'm not gonna lie. Be mad or whatever, but when it comes to national security, when it comes to American shit nobody be in there bossing shit around, telling shit to go. But they need to at least make that shit look like it's still some control going on, man. People walking in, that's like y'all coming into my house telling me what to do and how to move around and what need to go the hell on. I'm gonna tell you, get the fuck out. Straight up, I'm just gonna say it just like that. I'm gonna tell you like I tell people every night: pick those damn thong flip-flops off the up by the door and get the hell out, man. You're not coming up in here telling me what the hell is going on, man, and how I'm running my shit. Straight up.
That President Donald Trump is rapidly losing patience with Benjamin Netanyahu and the Israeli government, which I find dubious to say the least, and I can explain why in a moment. But recently, Trump did declare that he would not allow Israel to annex the West Bank, which Carlson believes was his response to Netanyahu's claims that he controls the United States government. Take a look.
I think the good news is that the government of Israel, in particular, the Prime Minister, Benjamin Netanyahu, has pushed it too far. And he did that in part by running around.
Do y'all think Netanyahu pushed it too far, chat? Yes or no? Do y'all think Netanyahu pushed it too far? Double tap the screen, shut a live out, chat. We are 25 subscribers away from the next sub goal, man. About 1 million of y'all come back and watch me every single month, man. We trying to get to 1 million subscribers. Subscribe to the channel, man. Run plug up. Run plug up. Double tap the screen, shut a live out, man.
People, what he thought was true, apparently. I control Donald Trump. I control the United States Congress. I control the United States. He said that to political allies and opponents in his country. He said it to foreign heads of state. Fact. I control these people. Don't you worry. And by the way, if you kick me out of office, the next guy probably won't have the level of control that I have. He's made that case. That was too much for our president. And so in one of the great moments, it was just, it was a cool shower on a hot day. President Trump pushed back, not directly, but you can watch this clip and see that he's had enough.
I will not allow Israel to annex the West Bank. No, I will not allow it. It's not going to happen.
Did you speak with Netanyahu about this?
Yeah, but I'm not going to allow it.
Now look, for me, talk is cheap, and I see President Donald Trump as the kayfabe president. If you don't know what kayfabe is, look into.
How did we get to this point, Christina? I'm going to tell you how we got to this point from a different perspective than most people would say. I'm not going to go through the history. We know about how, the states came to be, the countries came to be and all of that. But I'm going to say is how we got here now is technology. The cell phones, the internet, social media, interest media, the way the messages. That's why Netanyahu came and sat down with those influencers and said, we are fighting the 8th front war. The 8th front is TikTok and X, social media. We have to fight it. That's why we are here now. Before, it was all hush, hush, keep it quiet. Oh, you can't say that or you can't do that. Now, the Band-Aid was ripped off. People was like, damn, Kanye was saying this shit some years ago. Oh, damn, Tucker's saying it. Oh, Candy, now it's everywhere. CNN dropped the top 10 list of the most anti-Semitic people. That's why we are here now. That's why it's in everybody's face. That's why you can't run from it. No matter where you go, it's gonna be this kind of conversation going on because of the way technology has evolved. 10, 20 years ago, it would have been a lot slower pace. They would have been able to get ahead of these narratives. They would have been able to put a cap on it. They would have been able to, move money around. But now it's different. Media, the narrative moves too fast. Media goes too quick. You have hundreds of thousands of independent journalists now. 10, 20 years ago, this was not the case.
It's a wrestling term. It's theater. He will say things publicly, but do something entirely different in his actions, right? So it remains to be seen whether Trump is actually going to push back against the Israeli government when it comes to the annexation of the West Bank. Because let's not forget, a cool $100 million from Miriam Adelson in order to step back and allow Israel to annex the West Bank. So I'm not just going to take his word for it. I'm going to wait and see if Trump is actually going to walk the walk or if he's just engaging in more of the kayfabe theater that we typically expect from this administration. But nonetheless, Carlson's monologue, which was titled 4 Ways to Fix America's Deeply Destructive and Humiliating Relationship with Israel, makes some interesting suggestions, most of which I actually agree with. Now, his first suggestion was for Americans to recognize how Israel's pretty insignificant when it comes to the United States.
See, this is Anna. This is the one. Who was that girl we just seen with Officer Tatum? And what's that person we just seen with Officer Tatum? She's the one who got into it with Anna, I believe. Isn't this Anna, chat? They got into it on their show over there on Patrick Bet-Davis Network. She said she the one that got her hired. What's that girl's name? Julian something. She was just on Officer Tatum's show.
States and its own geopolitical goals. Take a look.
The United States is a nation of 350 million people. It has some of the deepest natural resources in the world. That would include energy and water, agricultural products. The United States, however it's managed, is a powerhouse globally and always will be because its strength is inherent. It's a huge, decisive country. Israel is not an insult, merely an observation. By contrast, is a tiny and inherently insignificant country, at least geopolitically, in that...
I think it was Jillian. I think the lady's name was Jillian.
It has only 9 million people. Natural resources, no meaningful natural resources. So it is insignificant. It is also physically tiny. It's about the size of New Jersey, famously, but it has a much smaller GDP than New Jersey.
Come on, that's a little bit unfair. I hear Israel's actually huge when it comes to the diamond trade. To that, by the way. And see how exactly they are so big in the diamond trade. But nonetheless, obviously I'm being facetious in what I'm saying here. But nonetheless, I look, it's a harsh way of putting it, but it's actually true. In terms of the natural resources, the influence over the globe, the importance geopolitically, calling Israel insignificant is going to piss a lot of people off. I get it. I totally get it. But he's not wrong. And so as a result, he suggests that the United States stop taking orders from Israel. Take a look at that.
The true villain here, I would argue, is not the state of Israel, the Jews. It's the United States. It's our leaders who are putting up with this. Israel is a small country with very limited resources, and it is doing its best to serve its own interests. Every country would act that way, and most do. But there are some that don't, and ours would top that list. You can't be shamed into ignoring things that are quite clearly not the behavior of a subordinate ally to a big brother ally. For example, spying on the country that makes your economy and your defense possible, which the Israelis have been doing for generations. That's a fact.
That is a fact.
What it do, Doris?
Hundreds of Israeli spies were arrested and detained following the horrific terrorist attack
Hey chat, I need y'all's help, man. We are still fighting the shadow ban, man. I need everybody to double tap the screen, especially if you're watching on the phone. We trying to get to 100 likes. We are 25 subscribers away from the next sub goal. And if y'all are kind enough to share this video out, share it to the last person that you text or to your timeline, doesn't matter to me.
On September 11th, 2001, they were spying on in the United States. On domestic soil. That is our ally. How do you justify the spying that's taking place? And by the way, the United States spies on Israel as well. I'm not stupid. I know that that's true. That sounds like a pretty toxic relationship. And look, the point that Tucker Carlson's making here is true. How exactly does it benefit American citizens to, for instance, spend $30 billion on Israel's annihilation of Palestinians in the Gaza Strip? How does that benefit us, especially at a time when we just had Medicaid funds?
I think this is why Jillian had got into it with Anna, because they was talking about something and she said Anna keeps wanting to talk about this topic right here.
To the tune of $1 trillion over the next decade. What are we paying our taxes for? Why are we borrowing money at a time when we have an insane amount of federal debt, pay for Israel's weaponry as they carry out atrocities and war crimes in Gaza and the West Bank? How does this make any sense? He's right. If you take your emotions out of it and just look at the facts, this is not beneficial for the American people at all. So, about some of the specific things that Carlson thinks need to change in order to repair this toxic alliance and relationship we have with Israel. He talks about the issue of dual citizenship. I differ from him on this a little bit, so let's watch what he has to say and I'll explain what I mean.
Third thing I think that would be very helpful to restore health and balance to the relationship between the United States and Israel is restore the concept of citizenship in the United States. If you're an American citizen, it means something. The first thing it means is equality. You are equal to every other citizen. There's no hierarchy of citizenship. All citizens are equal. Each gets one vote. Each gets justice before the law. That's the promise of the United States, and each gets to say exactly what he thinks, period. Restore value of citizenship. And the very first thing you would do if you cared about that, and you should, because the country can't continue without it, after you expelled everyone who's not a citizen from the country, which should happen immediately. They should be deported immediately for our own survival. But after doing that, the first thing you would do is not allow dual citizenship. And moreover, you are not allowed to serve in a foreign military.
Juju, no, my poll does make sense. It does make sense. I worded it that way. I worded it that way purposely. So, though, is Kanye misunderstood or crazy? If you think he's misunderstood or crazy, pick yes. If you don't think he's misunderstood or crazy, neither one, pick no. It's just a different question. I didn't word it wrong. It makes sense. It's just not the question you expected. It was an unconventional question. You know what I'm saying? Unconventional is the word you're looking for.
Without losing your American citizenship. You're fighting for another country? That be allowed? How can you retain your citizenship? By the way, why aren't you serving in our military? And AIPAC has to register under FARE, the Foreign Agent Registration Act of the 1930s. Of course, it's a foreign lobby. There are a million of them. But it's only AIPAC that doesn't register.
I agree with him when it comes to AIPAC entirely. I'm not even going to, dive into that at all because I'm totally aligned with Tucker Carlson on that issue. I do want to talk about deporting all people who are here without documented status, right? Look, I just see that as extreme. And I'm not opposed to deporting some folks, but I also want to implement a process so people have a pathway to citizenship. Because I don't think an undocumented person who's been in the country for many years and has been working and contributing to American society should be treated the same as someone who, came into the country illegally or overstayed their visa and they've been here for a few months or a few years. I just think there's some nuance in that issue that's kind of being thrown out the window. However, his argument about the value of being an American citizen is important to just weigh in on here. I agree with him. I think that American citizenship is devalued to some extent. I do find it incredibly problematic that we do not have any laws right now preventing dual citizens from serving in Congress or in government roles.
It's crazy.
When I say dual citizen, I'm not just talking about individuals who have American citizenship and Israeli citizenship or Israel citizenship. I'm talking about anyone who is serving in the federal government, anyone who's a public servant, period, having dual citizenship because it's a conflict of interest. It's not that difficult. So for me...
You said, would I let Kanye babysit my children? I wouldn't let none of you motherfuckers babysit my kids. I'm going to keep it real. Nothing against y'all, but yeah, I wouldn't let none of you motherfuckers babysit my kids.
That would be the priority. If you're an ordinary private American and you have dual citizenship, I actually think he's making a pretty strong argument here. But I'm willing to look the other way when it comes to ordinary private Americans having dual citizenship. But when it comes to public servants, that's an entirely different question. Entirely. Have that conflict of interest. And by the way, I also agree. If you are willing to serve in a foreign government's military but unwilling to serve in our own military, it's a little sus. Little sus. Agree with him on that. You either have a stake in the game or not. You either want to improve this country.
No, I would not let Kanye babysit my kids.
Fight for this country, protect this country. Or not. You can't have that type of conflict of interest playing a role in if you're willing to go fight in a foreign government.
Now let me show y'all something about digital marketing right here, chat. I'm gonna stop the show. Give me like 1 minute. See how many questions people come in here asking, what's up with your poll? You worded it wrong. Why is your poll like that? No, I worded it perfectly. See how it's getting interaction. Y'all are coming in here questioning me about my poll. I know what my poll says. My poll says, is he misunderstood or crazy? If he's misunderstood or crazy, pick yes. If he's neither misunderstood nor crazy, pick no. I know what the poll says. I'm very well aware of it. Y'all aren't. That's why y'all come in and ask questions. That gets comments. That boosts the algorithm. Free sauce.
It's military, but not our own. I just find that so strange. So I think he makes a strong case there as well. And finally, he wants to kind of clear the record Christianity, and he wants Christians to get their theology right, as he puts it. So I want to go to the last video, and then we'll end here.
And the last thing that I think we need to do to restore balance between the relationship of the United States and Israel, and to restore some sanity to the public conversation on this topic, is to get our theology right. This is not a message aimed at Israelis or Jews. This is a message aimed at Christians, who are the largest group of Israel supporters in the United States. Our view of Israel is colored not just by sentimental attachment, which is fine, or trips to Israel, great, no problem, but by a Christian heresy, the oldest of the Christian heresies, is that God somehow prefers some people based on their DNA. And of course, the whole point of Christianity is that that is no longer true, that there is no chosen people. The chosen people are people who choose Jesus. That is the Christian message right there. It's not an anti-Semitic message, by the way.
So look, there's obviously a huge disagreement when it comes to evangelicals who are Christian Zionists versus, the type of Christians that I grew up with who didn't believe in Christian.
Again, my voice. I knew somebody would come in here and say that as well. It goes back into the free sauce. At the end of the day, we're on the internet, you know what I'm saying? That poll probably had y'all think more than you've thought all morning. You probably read that poll 3 or 4 times to try to break it down. I got your brain working this morning. We got some brain waves going, some damn activity, and some of those empty ass heads we got in the room. Let's be real.
Zionists believe, and didn't believe in this weird apocalyptic outcome where there's a second coming of Christ and anyone who's Jewish and converted to Christianity will be saved. Anyone who refuses to do so will burn in eternal damnation. Like, I wasn't taught any of that stuff when I was going to Sunday school growing up. And yes, I was raised Christian. And so that storyline, evangelical Christians being utilized and exploited in a way to benefit the foreign country of Israel, is something that Tucker Carlson takes issue with, and I totally agree with him on that. Now, I'm not a practicing Christian anymore, so if you are a practicing Christian, you fall in the camp of Tucker Carlson, I totally get the frustration of religion being used in a cynical way to support a foreign country, even as they engage in some of the most unchristian behavior you can imagine, including the slaughtering of innocent people in the West Bank and Gaza and Lebanon and other countries as well in the Middle East. Let's keep it real. Look, I don't have any hatred in my heart for...
My voice, I'm finna fire my shit back up just because you said that, my voice. How's that for a fuck you on this Saturday morning?
Israelis. I have hatred in my heart for Israel's government, right? I have a lot of anger over the fact that Americans are forced to...
Listen, my voice, I didn't fuck up. That's the thing. See, you're in here trying to debate me about how I asked the question. I'm in here getting you to comment. You know what I'm saying? I'm fighting a shadow ban right now, and then you running on my comments arguing with me. People in the comments are gonna, be like, hey, you're wrong, he's wrong. That's gonna get some more comments, and it's a conversation. Now we're in the conversation. So the goal was accomplished whether you know it or not. I mean, I'm not hiding it, you know what I'm saying? I just stopped the show to kind of tell y'all what's going on. But no, it was very intentional, my voice.
To support what the current Israeli government is carrying out. And they are, in fact, carrying out atrocities.
What's up, Jennifer?
And the fact that Americans are forced to be complicit in that is an injustice. I have a huge problem with that. So does Tucker Carlson, and I'm grateful that he's speaking out against it, because I know all too well that you pay a price in speaking out against it. But if you love this country and you want what's best for Americans first and foremost, you do have to reevaluate our relationship and our alliance with Israel. Is it actually beneficial to the American people? Tucker Carlson doesn't think so, and neither do I. And this might be the first time in my career, in my adult life, where I've seen unity and strong agreement.
All right, so I'm gonna stop her there. It's almost the end of that clip. But I disagree with her right there. I do think our relationship with Israel is important, but right now it's lopsided. You know what I'm saying? So we need to get the balances and shit together. We as far as the free speech and getting our free speech the hell up out of there, we got to get that shit together. But I do think that it is important to have strategic relationships around the globe. We do not need to isolate ourselves from everybody, but we need to get shit in line. That's what we need to do. It's some checks and balances. It's some hierarchy around this motherfucker. That's what we need to get, in my opinion.
This is Crown Heights, home to the largest Orthodox Jewish nation.
All right, so this guy went around asking everybody. I think this is in New York. We know Eric Adams just bowed out of the mayor race. So this guy, the Nate Friedman shows, he's asking Orthodox Jews, Kumar or Mamdani. Kumar Mamdani, we know Eric Adams bowed out. Diddy just got 4 years yesterday. I'm pretty sure Eric Adams bowing out got something to do with Diddy getting his time. He said there wasn't a lot of money floating around. Diddy was a billionaire. Diddy was probably donating a lot of chicken to that campaign.
Neighborhood in America. I've come here to ask the people a simple question. Mamdani or Cuomo? With Adams officially announcing that he's dropping out of the race, things are about to seriously heat up with this election.
I see what's going on in New York. We're going to have perhaps a communist mayor because it's split up. If the people would get together and have one candidate that have a thing of...
So now let me take y'all through the timeline, chat. So we know Diddy got the key to the city of New York from Eric Adams. We know Eric Adams got indicted not too long after Diddy got picked up, right? Trump ended up pardoning Eric Adams before the investigation even really took off. Now, Eric Adams owes Trump a favor. Trump doesn't want Mamdani being a communist. He claims he's a socialist, but everybody calls him a communist. Doesn't want Mamdani being over New York. So Trump, they're saying the vote was going to be split. If Mamdani, Eric Adams, and Cuomo, if they're all running, Mamdani's going to win easily because Eric Adams and Cuomo is going to split the vote. So Trump called in their favor, like, look, man, I pardoned you. I got you out of all this damn trouble, man. You need to get the hell out of the race. Eric Adams was talking all of this shit a couple weeks ago. Oh, I'm not bowing out of the race. I'm not. All of that was a fucking charade. He was gonna bow out to begin with. He gets up there with the sitting on the steps talking about he doesn't have the funding and shit, which I do believe. I do believe his funding is a little fucked up right now, but I don't think he was gonna run anyway. He was gonna end up bowing out anyway, in my opinion, because Trump called in their favor.
There are over 1.4 million Jews in New York City, so candidates have spent a lot of time trying to get support from Jewish New Yorkers. So let's see who the Orthodox Jewish community is voting for. And let me just say that it was very difficult to make this video happen. Most people did not want to be interviewed. But when has that stopped us before? We came for the truth, and that's what we'll get. Welcome back to the Nate Friedman Show.
Mind if I ask you about who you want to win, Mamdani or...
I don't hate Muslims, Gito. I don't hate any religion. I don't hate any person, like there's not a group of people that I can just point to and be like, I fucking hate them. It's some groups of people I can point to and be like, I'm indifferent. Let's just be honest. I can say I'm a humanitarian, but I'm still working on it, Chad. I'm not perfect. We all fall short to the glory of God, man. I'm not perfect. There are some situations where I'm kind of indifferent. You know, I'm working on that. But there's no group of people or religion that I just fucking hate. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, I hate them. No, man, it is what it is with me. Shit, what you eat don't make me shit.
Of
course not Mamdani.
Okay, and why not Mamdani?
Because I'm from Ukraine, and I don't like any communist ideas. We had enough of them. I think the young generation needs to learn what is it, communism, and why it didn't work, and why those ideas not working.
Yeah. So let's say the younger generation is listening, because they are. Why doesn't communism work? Why won't it work in New York?
Because you can say also in Venezuela, they try to do free supermarkets and they collapse, and same thing over here. And once you do everything by the government, so the government basically gonna...
You said why be indifferent? You either hate them or support them? No, Carlos, it's not either I hate somebody or I support somebody. Some shit I just don't give a fuck about. I'm gonna keep it real. Y'all can be politically correct and say it's this or that. No, I'm gonna be real. It's some shit I don't give a fuck about. You know what I'm saying? Like straight up. Like if my neighbor's mail comes on time or not, or if it's a day late, I don't give a fuck about that. So why can't I not give a fuck about something else? You know what I'm saying? Like, what else? Carlos, if you woke up this morning and kicked your coffee table and now your big toe is black and purple, I'm sorry that hurt you, but honestly, I really don't give a fuck about it because you're going to be okay. Now, if you has a life-threatening injury or somewhere you had to miss work, yeah, Carlos, I'll fuck with you. You know what I'm saying? But if I kick my toe in here right now, nobody's going to give a fuck. Y'all going to be indifferent. Damn, plug stumped this toe. What are we talking about?
Control everything, and that's something we don't want to have.
Yeah.
Oh, my bad, Carlos. I did kind of go
hard. So if the government controls everything, like, why won't it work specifically in New York? Because people are really excited.
Yeah, people are. The same thing happened in
Nah, Joe Smith. It's not tomorrow. It was my meal. It was the day before. It was my meal. You know what I'm saying? The day before my meal was late. Now the next day my neighbor meal late. Hell, sometimes meal just is late. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is.
1913 in Russia, same thing. People were excited about communism and how everything should be equal and blah blah blah. But by the end of the day, 70 years later, everything collapsed and everybody noticed all the disaster that Stalin did and all the dark side of communism.
One of the biggest movements for Mamdani is Jews for Mamdani. What do you say to those Jews that are voting for Mamdani?
In Russian, we said, "В семье без уродов никак." In the family, well, we always have some little brothers that make some stupid stuff.
Fair enough. Okay, anything that you would want to tell those Jewish people voting for Mamdani?
I wish them well.
He pointed out that Venezuela's supermarkets collapsed under communism, and he's right. In Venezuela, families have been forced to wait in line overnight just to buy basic food. And now Mamdani wants to bring that failed model here by instituting government-run grocery stores. And now an owner of one of the largest grocery store chains in New York City has already said he'll shut down stores if Mamdani wins. Are you supporting Mamdani or Cuomo?
Not Mamdani.
And why not Mamdani?
Because I don't feel he is supportive of the Jewish community. So I'm a little bit scared about our future here. I got punched in the face a few weeks ago. I feel safer if we have a person who's going to... Right now the person's still held up, the one who attacked me. If Mamdani's in charge, I don't think that would happen.
So they put him in custody, this guy?
Yeah.
Okay. Where did this happen?
On Eastern Parkway.
Were you wearing a kippah and he saw you? Sure. Okay. Did you have to go to the hospital?
I got it checked out.
Yeah, checked out. I'm really sorry to hear. That's horrible. When you say that he's not great for the Jewish community, what makes you say that?
It's also in contrast to the others, meaning the others have stated explicitly that they are supportive of Israel, the Jewish community. He has not been as vocal in his support.
Okay.
So I don't feel safe.
Okay, and the last thing is...
So do y'all think Mamdani is a communist, chat? Yes or no?
What do you say to the Jews tonight? And I've asked a lot of Jews in Manhattan who they're voting for, and many of them are voting for Mamdani. What do you say to those Jews that are voting for Mamdani?
Make sure you're doing all your research. And make sure you're really comfortable with that decision.
One of the things that might pop up in your research is that Mamdani in one of his old songs said this: "My love to the Holy Land 5. Yeah, the Holy Land 5 was convicted for funding Hamas back in 2008. It was the largest Muslim charity in the United States before the U.S. froze their assets after the 9/11 attacks and designated them a terrorist organization. Now, Mamdani's song, by the way, was from 2017, so they knew all of this. And as for the assault that he mentioned, it is an unfortunate common occurrence in Crown Heights. Here you can see exactly what globalizing the Intifada actually looks like, a phrase Mamdani does not condemn."
Nate Friedman had some questions about the...
If you do an interview with me, I'll put on tefillin.
100%. Got him.
Okay. And would you do an interview with me too?
He speaks only Hebrew.
He speaks only Hebrew. Okay.
If you could do Hebrew.
Are you supporting Mamdani or Cuomo for the mayor?
The thing that's going to help goodness and kindness to the world.
I see you, Top Cat. I see what you said. Top Cat said, "Is Zionism a religion?" And y'all, do y'all think Zionism is a religion? What I'm gonna say is, he said his friend only speaks Hebrew, so he can't get a CDL either, right? I seen they said if you can't speak English, you can't get a CDL, so he ain't gonna be able to get a CDL either.
Are you voting?
If I'm going to be in town, I'm going to...
Matter of fact, didn't Trump say you got to pass an English test to be a citizen? So would he have to leave? If he could only speak Hebrew, he would have to leave too, huh? Under what Trump talking about?
I'm going to go vote.
Who would you vote for then?
It's a good question, and I think the best...
What's up, Arnett?
In general, the best thing to do is to... So I believe that there's going to be, from the community or whatever it is, they're going to ask for a specific
What's up, Lala?
We're going to do what the rabbis and whoever, I don't know who exactly, I don't want to point fingers, but whatever they say and they tell us the best thing to do is, then we'll listen to the people that know better than us in this aspect.
So is there a certain rabbi that you're waiting for guidance from on who to vote for?
I believe that's what most people will do, and it's not necessarily when some people they'll do something for money or whatever it is for their organization or whatever they feel they're going to get a benefit in. But in general, in this community, we're more into what's right, so we're going to go for the right, whatever we feel is going to stand and help us and all.
Yeah, when it comes to religion, chat, I'm from the Bible Belt, so when it comes to like a lot of these conflicts that's going on now, I don't know what these people practice. I'm gonna keep it real. Like when y'all called in and told me that Hamas isn't Islam, is different, I had to look and listen, man. I'm from the Bible Belt, Chad. I'm just gonna keep it real, man. Just gonna keep it real.
In all shapes.
Have you heard the term globalize the intifada?
You want to explain what that means?
And when I say the Bible Belt, like, you don't see mosques and synagogues, and man, you see churches and tabernacles, man. Straight up, you see churches and tabernacles where I'm from.
Have you heard it before?
I've never heard of it.
Okay. Globalize the Intifada is about an uprising. It refers to the first and second Intifada that carried out car bombings and suicide attacks against Jews in Israel.
Okay.
So Mamdani does not condemn globalizing the Intifada. He does not condemn this phrase. Does that concern you?
If you ask me, when it came to October 7, right? So all the people that are saying doing certain things about Israel, if they would be one of those people in one of those houses next to Gaza, the Hamas wouldn't make a difference if you're Jewish or not Jewish. If you support the Arabs, they'll kill you, they'll rape you, they'll slaughter you, they'll do whatever they want to you because you're in Israel.
That's correct.
Nothing to do with who you are. And you have people that are going to say, "Oh, we believe in peace." They wouldn't ask you. They would shoot you 3 times in the head and do whatever they want, and then talk to God. You know what I'm saying?
So as you heard, this is how a lot of Orthodox Jewish people will be voting. The rabbi makes a decision and they follow their lead. Now, as promised, I did put on tefillin, same as I did last year in Borough Park when I made a similar deal with this guy for an interview.
So what they mean, they rabbi? So is this like? Is that like a pastor? Does every church have a different rabbi? You know what I'm saying? So is it like, okay, this church, they rabbis voting for this candidate. This church, they rabbis voting for this candidate. Is that how it is? Or is it just one person get up there and, that's what's going on for everybody?
Is just how difficult it is to get interviews here. So a special thank you to our guide from the community, Daniel Schonbuck, who helped me convince people to do an interview. What makes you enthusiastic about Cuomo?
It's just...
He didn't just have a hat on, did he? I'm just asking, Chad. He didn't just have that motherfucker on, did he?
It's the lesser of the two.
Okay.
Yeah,
that's what I'm hearing.
Yeah.
Okay, what do you say to the Jews that are supporting Mamdani in Manhattan?
I'll just take a listen to what he says and the people that are around him and the chants that you'll hear and see if there's any pushback that he has for them, standing up for what's right.
Well, given that these New Yorkers are very busy, what should they look for in what he says? Is there a specific moment that they should look for in their research?
For sure.
Like what?
Okay. There's been many rallies that he's had, many politically public events that he's been doing, different campaigns, and you'll see the people that show up, either to that one versus ones for Cuomo. That's just an easy thing that you could do, but that's basically judging from the outside. And then if you have some more time, you want to get more informed, just watch the news, listen.
By who shows up, you mean talking about kefayas and Palestine flags?
Yeah, or even the speech.
Well, a lot of the Jews see the kefayas and Palestine flags and they say, well, yeah, we want peace, we free Palestine, so that necessarily won't deter them.
Right. There are people which are uninformed of what's going on in the world and in different places, or they think that, maybe if I align myself with certain types of people, then it's going to be, I'll be going to be the one that's promoting peace.
Jews was funding Hitler too, and they thought funding Hitler would make him be on their side. Unfortunately, sometimes we could be our worst enemies, but our job is to stand proud to be here on.
Chat, double tap the screen, shut the live out. We 25 subscribers away from the next sub goal. We go live every single day over here talking politics, current events, and entertainment, man. Subscribe to the channel. We are still chasing 100 likes too, man. Double tap the screen.
In the publicly displaying Judaism and showing the world that God is on our side.
Yeah, I mean, my experience is speaking to more secular Jews in Manhattan. They're more for Mamdani.
Yeah.
Why is that?
We have this complex. Jews always have this complex that we have to be apologetic to the world, and we feel like that we have to somehow please the world, and we forget that we are the light upon the world, and we have to shine the light. So the Jews who are more secular, they're not in touch with their mission, their purpose, why God put them here. So if you're less in touch, you think we just have to cower to the enemy and try to blend in and assimilate, and that's the only way that will be accepted. But unfortunately, history has proven that doesn't work at all. Yeah. In fact, Hitler went after the secular Jews before he went after the religious Jews. So assimilation doesn't work, but we don't learn lessons. We kind of like to repeat mistakes over and over again throughout history. But our job is to be proud.
That's all we can do.
Alright, this video is about to get way crazier, and we're going to get back to Crown Heights in just a second, but there's something other than this upcoming election that we cannot ignore, and that's AI. As a journalist, I don't love that it's going to blur the lines more for what is actually true, but AI also has some positives, and it's not going anywhere, so it's best we learn how to use it. Right now, I actually frequently use AI to learn about political policies. It's super helpful to prepare for videos, and it's especially without skill.
Anybody else, we need God's protection. We have to be aware of that. We have to know that God is in charge, and God is ultimately the one who's keeping us alive every second.
Within the natural order of the world, you have to make certain choices.
Yeah, so we have to make the best choices we can. Absolutely. And if you
What's
have a choice
up
to
now,
vote, you're
Anthony?
going to vote for somebody who hates Jews less.
Okay.
So obviously Mamdani hates Jews more. He doesn't hide it.
Yeah.
So you don't want to vote somebody who hates Jews, but
I'm finna open up the phone lines, chat. Before we get into this Kanye, we're gonna watch what Kanye said about this situation 2 years ago, man. Kanye's been talking about this for a couple years. He was blackballed about it. We're gonna open up the phone lines before we get into that though. Let me make sure I got the number pinned. Alright, chat. Alright, the phone line's open.
it is, even if somebody who hates Jews is in power, God's still running the show.
Yeah, I mean, when you say that there are Jews who supported Hitler, like, what are the parallels that you're seeing with the Jews who supported Hitler and the Jews who are supporting Mamdani?
Well, they're both extremely secular. They both don't bring God into the equation. They look at the world according to nature, and you could say they're self-hating Jews, or they're afraid of their own shadow, or they're afraid to be Jews, and they feel like being a Jew is putting a target on your back. So, but then I realized that, Hitler was pulling priests out of churches because they were Jewish. So you could convert to Christianity, and you're a Jew's a Jew, a Jew's in a soul.
What's up,
no matter
Bree?
what you do, you could marry a non-Jew, you could have children of a non-Jew, you could convert to Islam, and they'll still kill you. You could do it. It's a soul, and they see that. The Jew haters recognize the soul, and they want to wipe out the soul. The Jew, even if you assimilate, you won't be successful.
Yeah, my last question for you is, what about his policies? Is there something about his policies that makes you worried about Mamdani Mayor?
Well, anyone that openly says free Palestine, openly says that Israel does not have a right to exist.
Legalize prostitution.
Okay.
He does want to legalize prostitution. And he mentioned that he believes in Israel's right to exist, but not as a Jewish state. What do you say to that?
Well, he's just trying to win some Jewish votes. He's just trying to sugarcoat his anti-Semitic, but he's spoken anti-Semitically so strongly that you can't get fooled by it.
I have to bring this up because it's important. A lot of Jews say, well, criticism of Israel is not criticism of Jews. Anti-Zionism is not anti-Semitism. What do you say to that?
I say, go be a proud Jew at any of these pro-Palestinian parades and see how much they will respect you. Not Israeli, no Star of David. Just be public Jew. Openly Jewish, proud.
I ain't gonna lie, that's kind of how the black community feel, chat. Y'all know that I've been black my whole life, man. That's kind of how a lot of people in the black community feel. Like, yeah, man, I'll be like, all people, it is what it is. They'll be like, well, plug, just go out there. They're going to treat you just like they treat me. And sometimes this shit is true. It doesn't matter if I had a engineering degree, a license. There's some places that I can get pulled over and it don't matter. They don't care about your accolades. They don't care what you're driving. They don't give a fuck. Hey, man, you black, it is what it is. And it's crazy hearing this from him. But not about being white, but about being Jewish. It doesn't matter he's saying it doesn't matter if you're a Zionist Jew, if you're talking about Israel, just being from Israel, if you're Orthodox, he's saying it don't matter. Go out there and indeed, all of the above, go out there in any one of those and see how they treat you. It's crazy.
Jewish, and see if you'll see yourself. You don't have to ask me, go try it out. See how safe you'll feel in a pro-Palestinian parade.
What's your name?
Bert, what's not a yes or no question, Bearheart? I called you Bert. What's not a yes or no question? Are you talking about my poll, Bearheart? See, chat, I told y'all.
Moishi, my name is Nate. It was a pleasure. Thank you so much for this interview.
Sure.
I appreciate it.
Well,
By the way, good job.
The truth stays the truth. There's nothing to hide. You say it the way it
There's
is.
protests that have made its way over here without anybody saying we don't even care. We don't even like wave Israeli flags over here in this community specifically. It's not a especially Zionist community, but you'll find people that are coming over here protesting and waving flags and saying those slogans, shouting them out.
Yeah.
Like,
And they
why
come
here?
directly here.
Why here? Why in this community? Why up the street over here?
Yeah, so you've had protests march through Crown Heights many times?
Just straight up, 2 blocks that way.
And do they get violent?
Making disruption, and it has gotten violent.
Okay, do they punch people? Do they harm people on the street?
First, they get up in your face, make you feel very uncomfortable.
And what do they say?
Well, it has happened. There's been people that have been walking by that make different blockades with bodies, not allowing people to move through their neighborhoods peacefully.
Do they say Jew? Do they say Zionist? What do they say?
It has happened.
Can you give me an example of what they said? I would love to hear.
Literally,
What's up,
posters
DT?
that you said. They call people Zionists. They call the people Jews in derogatory ways. Say, oh, there's a Jew walking over there, yelling over there. It's happened a little bit more earlier on this year. I haven't.
Yeah, chat, the poll is perfectly fine. You just might need to read it or reread it a couple of times. The poll is perfectly fine. I told y'all earlier, we just went through this like 30 minutes ago. It's a method to the madness. You know, chat, this is just, you know, what do they call that? A live trial. Y'all are seeing this. Y'all are seeing the real time results. You know what I'm saying? Like I told y'all, it's a method to the madness. Now y'all are seeing the real time results of people coming here asking about the poll and then, you know, keeping the convo going. This is in real time. It's a method to the madness, chat. A lot of this shit I do on here, you know, I do have a digital marketing background. Y'all know that, right? I do have a digital marketing background.
Around within the past few months, I've seen it much less.
And what do the police do?
Nothing. There's been a protest that's happened again a few blocks down where there's a main road, and there's a protest that's happened. You have people that are living there trying to go from one side of the block to the other side. People trying to get home, and they can't because the protests are happening. And the cops say, "Too bad."
Too bad. Okay. And do you guys report these assaults to the police?
They get reported.
They get reported, and nothing happens.
Yeah, and it also discourages people from reporting things at the end of the day.
Okay.
Like
So
why
they
report
can
things
say
if
crime
nothing
is down.
happens? Crime is down.
Okay.
Hey, good morning, Plug. Happy Sabbath, brother.
What's going on?
Nothing much, man. It's my Sabbath day and so forth.
I'm gonna call you back, Dorsey. I'm gonna call you back. Damn, that's why all this shit. Hold on, chat. Let me get Dorsey back on the line right quick. Y'all double tap the screen and shut the live out while I get Dorsey back on the line right quick. Chat.
Too bad.
Too bad. Okay. And do you guys report these assaults to the police?
They get reported.
They get reported, and nothing happens.
Yeah. And it also discourages people to.
All right, chat. Press 1 if I'm back. I'm finna get Dorsey back on the
They can
line.
say crime is down. Yeah.
Crime is down.
Okay.
Crime is down. Spirits are up.
Yeah, I understand.
Anyway,
Appreciate you. Bye, guys.
I can say with my own interactions with police, it's been somewhat mixed. On one hand, you have a protester trying to assault me, and then when I tell the police, they tell me not to antagonize the guy attacking me, even though I was literally just interviewing somebody else. And on the other hand, you have this policewoman who personally escorted me out of a hostile protest because the anti-West protesters were following me home. It should never depend on the policeman when it comes to police reports, though. Crime needs to get reported because it's a matter of the truth.
Who are you supporting, Mamdani or Cuomo?
I'm an Eric Adams guy.
Okay.
But I would
Okay,
vote for
Eric
Cuomo any
Adams.
day of the week over Mamdani.
Okay. And what makes you an Eric Adams guy?
Yeah, okay, Eric Adams getting love in the hood, man. That's crazy. Press 1 if I'm back, chat. Man, don't tell me the mic still messed up, bro. Hell no, I'm gonna call you right back. Damn, chat. Y'all give me 1 second, man. I hate when it does this, bro. It's only when I call.
Your breakthrough.
Alright, chat, let's try this shit again, man. Let's try to call Dorsey, man.
Attacking me.
Alright, man, let's call Dorsey. Take down 10 minutes to get Dorsey on the phone, don't it, Chad?
Better?
Yeah, hell yeah. What's going on, Dorsey?
Ain't nothing, man. Good morning. It's a Sabbath, so, I'm just chilling, relaxing. You have a very interesting and controversial little poll, and then you got a very controversial little subject going on right now.
Yeah, man. I mean, this is the topic, man. This is what's going on. We still got to talk about that Trump peace deal, too. That's coming later in the show.
Okay, so what do you want me to address first? Do you want to address Anna?
How do you feel about, I want to know how you feel about these different Orthodox Jews all having different opinions. Like some of them are saying some of them are saying, hey, we vote for Mamdani because we believe Palestine should be free. Some of them are saying, look, we vote for Kumo because shit, it is what it is. And we just seen a guy get up there and was like, shit, I'm an Eric Adams kind of guy. I didn't expect the Orthodox Jews to just be running around being Eric Adams fans. I don't know. I just didn't.
Okay, so this is where politics and religion meet.
Mm-hmm.
Each group had their own political agenda. Make sense? Okay, when they say secular Jews, right, those are kind of like non-practicing. They do respect the religion, but, they'll go get a cheeseburger like everybody else.
Oh, so they like the Christian.
Yeah, they like the Christians.
Okay.
Right? They just a little, Jews for Jesus. You ever heard of them?
Uh-huh.
Okay. That's one that they say that they do recognize Jesus to be the Messiah, and they still are loyal to the Jewish religion. Okay. They say Jesus never stopped practicing Judaism. Understand what I'm saying?
It's what do they call a denomination?
Yeah, because see, you got to understand, you got Orthodox Jews. That's them old time Jews, right? That's the one that go around with the black, with the little trench coats on and the locks, with the curly hairs on the side of the head and so forth with the hats.
Yeah. They look like the Amish kind of. They kind of look like the Amish.
Right. So that's that old time. That's the ones that's true to the game, right? All right. Then you have what we call a moderate Jew, right? Those are the ones who took on the Western civilizations and so forth, and moved outside the neighborhoods to live among the goy. The goy is what you call a Christian or a non-Jewish person, a goy, right? Okay. And you got with the ones that's like, what's his name? I'm not going to use Sarah Silverman because, she ain't represented, but Howard Stern. Say all kind of, vile things, and, he uses words and so forth. Basically just having no etiquette whatsoever. You understand where I'm coming from? So, because you have these different religious outlooks on the same, it's just like with Islam. They got their little thing too now. So, to start it off, Father Abraham, who is supposed to be the patriarch of the Hebrew religion, he was originally a Chaldean, migrated into Canaan, and had to go through some exploits, and he mixed with everybody. He was getting down, and he got down with not only Sarah, which was his cousin, but he also got down with Hagar, who was an Egyptian. Then, when Sarah died, he got down with a Canaanite woman, Keturah. It's all in it, and you can find that in Genesis 25. So, Father Abraham had 8 children. That's 1 with Sarah, 1 with Hagar, and 6 with Keturah, right? And these are what we call the medians and all the ones that in the Bible they kept getting into it when they was trying to cross the land and get to their part of the promised land.
Dorsey, they said Father Abraham is not Chaldean according to the chat, and they say you don't know what the hell he talking about either. Nah, Esther, I don't. Hold on,
No, I'm
Dorsey.
not talking to you.
Hold on, Dorsey. I'm talking.
back,
Dorsey, God, I'm talking to the chat. I'm talking to the chat right now. Hold on. Esther says that I don't know what the hell you talking about. Exactly, Esther. That's why when he said right, I just kind of got quiet because shit, I be telling Dorsey I can't be co-signing shit that I don't know about. So when he asks me right or wrong and I just be quiet, he knows to keep going because I don't know.
Exactly. So, Esther, go back and read Genesis 4. Okay? The tribes migrated and so forth into different parts. This is from Adam and Eve. Okay? So then we go on to the other part, whereas we go to what's his name? Noah. Okay? We move on to Noah, and then Noah had three sons, right? Shem, that's Japhet, and then there's Ham, right?
Right. I'm trying to figure out what this got to do with them voting for Mom Donnie or not, though. That's what I'm trying to figure out.
Oh, well, like I said, the moderate ones, they're like, hey, they're New Yorkers. They ain't thinking about no Israel. They thinking about what they got going on in their city. You know what I'm saying? Now the Orthodox, they're like, hey, we down with Israel, and that's just the way it is. So when you're looking at the moderates is like, we're Americans. We taking care of what we got. We have issues in New York City that needs to be addressed. They don't say, oh well, we're gonna go back to Israel. They like, we Americans, and that's the difference. And then the ones who were Adam, they was like, hey man, we got somebody who can be bought. You know, we put a little money in his pocket, and he'll do whatever we ask him to do. And that's the difference.
Okay. All right. I forgot what else we was talking about, but yeah, Dorsey. Let me see.
Anna is a hypocrite because she has dual citizenship to Armenia, and she flies back and forth to Armenia, which used to be a communist country. Armenia used to be part of the Soviet Union, and until the earthquake of 1986, Armenians were limited here in the United States. Ronald Reagan took on the Armenian refugees as a part of the SALT talks. He told Russia, if you get rid of some of your missiles, we'll get rid of some of your, we'll take in some of your Armenians. Then they brought them over here, and they gave them all kind of benefits and privileges and so forth. Refugee status, meaning free education, small business loans, all kind of EBT and so forth. And when they first got, because I know I lived in Glendale, California, where Anna lives. Okay, it is now an Armenian community. Okay, so
call in,
Anna,
call in, Esther. I see you going back and forth with Dorsey. Just call in, Esther. Go ahead.
Because we can go in the Bible and we can go toe for toe, Esther. Drag out your Torah or whatever, because I'm gonna go with the Old Testament. And like I said, if you look at Haram, Sarah, they originally were in Chaldea. And Chaldea used to be what was called Babylon. So, you know, her talking that nonsense, you know, that's the part right there. You bring your book and I'll bring my book. And then I'll go which verse and what chapter it's in. But her talking about, he don't know, you don't know what you're talking about. You know, like I said.
She said Abraham will be the father of many nations is what it says. And she said Sarah was not his cousin.
Sarah was his cousin. How you think that the Hebrews always marry one of their cousins to keep the bloodline pure? Einstein married his cousin. What are you talking about?
Yeah, but how does that prove Sarah was his cousin? Just because we know folks marry cousins.
Because
But
if you go and look, when he first got stopped by the Egyptians, he told Sarah to tell them that he was his sister.
how does that prove that's his cousin though?
Hey, you want me to pull out my Bible and call you back?
I'm just asking, Dorsey, because I mean I get it. We can infer
Because
that. We can infer it. But I'm looking like, because she's debating you on the proof. Y'all are going back and forth about scripture, and I'm just sitting here as a person who doesn't have the Bible pulled up, listening to two people go reading one person go back and forth with a caller. I'm asking.
Well, Google it. All you got to ask is Google, and they're going to tell you.
Nah, but this is a debate. I'm not that. Esther not debating Google. She calling you out on what you saying. She saying you spewing
No,
nonsense.
and I'm telling her that's what the Bible says. Now, I don't know what she's talking about. And is Esther Jewish? I mean, she got the little Jewish name, but that don't mean that she practices. And then they don't know, and then she don't even know what's going on in the Bible. So, like I said, and when let me put it to you this way: when they built the Tower of Babel, right? It's in the Bible, right? It collapsed, and everybody's tribes started scattering all over the world, right? The Chaldeans were the most knowledgeable of all of the races, because they was astronomy, they was into mathematics, they was into engineering, they were into all the sciences, and that science represented knowledge. But when Nimrod came into power, he was the hunter of men, meaning that he was hunting down all people who believed in God. Nimrod was the first king on earth. Really, he was the fourth king, but they say he was the first original king on earth.
Okay, Dorsey,
And
Top
then
Cat finna call in, man. I think Top Cat finna give you some backup. Call in, Top Cat.
All right, call in, Top Cat. Let's get him right.
All right, Dorsey. Essence, you can call in too, because I'm gonna keep it real with y'all. I could have asked Google and shit, but when we debating scripture, I watch a lot of scripture debates. I don't debate scripture, but I watch a lot of them. Like I tell y'all, the God Logic, the Tazariacs. I used to watch the Young Pharaohs. I watch a lot of the religious and spiritual debates, and they don't pull up Google. I'm just gonna keep it real. They make you go with scripture. They make you go with scripture, cite it, and if you get a and mixed up with the or, they get in your ass about it. So that's why I said, hey, Dorsey said you could pull up Google. I'm like, nah, I ain't gonna pull up Google because
Call from
Top Cat.
I'm not gonna pull up Google because when you debating scripture, it's like some etiquette. The way they debate the scripture be etiquette. You pull out some Google or something debating scripture, they're going to get on your ass out there in the religious debates. I'm just going to keep it real. They want you to go from the book. Go ahead, though, Top Cat. What's going on now?
Hey, good morning, everybody. Shalom, everybody. Shabbat shalom, everybody. No disrespect to everyone or anyone. I don't play about this word, and that's why I'm not going to sit up here and talk about exact scriptures unless I'm going to get into this book. But believe me, I got 3 or 4 of them sitting in front of me. Dorsey was hitting some things, but, when you're speaking on such a big book and you're putting things in order, if everybody isn't versed, they're not going to understand, because it seems like he's not telling exactly what's the timeline that's going through it, but he's speaking pretty factual. There's some things that are confusing to some people. It's just how you understand it. So I'm going to address a couple of things that Dorsey said when he was talking about Orthodox and he was talking about moderates. Now, those are two kind of different subjects, because we have moderates, we have extremists, and we have people that really don't, deal with it, that come out of certain things. So this discussion that we're having when they're saying about these people that are picking things, you have basically, like he was saying, moderates, extremists, but that's all on the religion. It's all about the religion. So you have Orthodox Jews and you have Sephardic Jews. the Orthodox Jews, I'm gonna just keep it plain and simple. Most of them, or if not all of them, are European Jews. Have Sephardic Jews, and that's when you go into Spain, Africa, Palestine, Jordan, and all these different areas like that. Those are mostly the Sephardic Jews, and even Egypt in certain parts. And people could be considered Sephardic Jews, or of that nationality. Now, the biggest problem that most people don't understand about this whole subject is that there are people that practice a religion of Judaism, and there are people that look at it as a nationality, or they connect DNA with it. So that's where you get the point of people saying what they're saying right now. So some people, that's why nobody else in the world can be. Black is a country, and black is an actual people. They're actual nationality. Nobody has that but so-called Jewish people. So that you can walk around and say, I'm Jewish, and it doesn't mean that you practice Judaism. That's where there's some confusion coming in there. And that's me just addressing the subject before I get into any point of addressing the word or talking about the Torah. And like Esther, I've seen her in the comments, and she had something a little bit to say. And everybody has their opinions. That fake Hebrew Israelites and all these people that don't know the Bible. Well, that's a lot to say. I mean, that's a lot of conviction. And I'm going to tell you, me coming from a young age of being, from a Baptist church, and so that's a very Christian thing to say. Why would it be a point of attacking somebody before you understand them? And that has a lot to do with how, Christians, that some of them, I'm not saying all of them, can get up on their shoulders, and, a lot of people die over what Christians say. They say they're the most persecuted and whatever, but that's the pot calling the kettle black, and that's me coming from that background, and that's me being in the background that I'm in. The same people that you're talking about, saying that they're this, they're that, they actually still are following laws, and they're still handling different things, just like this is Shabbat for me. And, I come and chill with you, Plug, and sharpen myself up and listen to what the public has to say and try to get some extra knowledge, and then I refer back to the book and see where it puts my head at with the Most High. So, just coming to get some clarity on that point, and then on the point of what he was talking about when he was talking about Ham, Shem, and Japheth. Okay, these are the sons of Noah. There's the hot parts, that's Ham. There's the cold parts, that's Japheth. And then there's the parts of seasons, and that's Shem. So Shem is the son of, and he inhabits the lands of seasons. Japheth is one son, and he inhabits the lands that are cold. And Ham is another son, and he inhabits the lands that are basically hot. And then you have an aspect of understanding of those people. Japheth, very fair-skinned. Shem, kind of a middle, brown to dark, and then Ham, they say, it's pretty dark, but dark to light. All these things go across the spectrum. So people go, they're just black people. No, it's light to dark. So all of them. The only one that's going to have a situation where they're going to stay in a certain band of color would be Japheth. Okay, so I'm just giving a generalization from what Dorsey was speaking on. And then when it comes to what he was speaking on, I'm going to get to, that subject that you were talking about. Because can you present that exact question for me again, Floyd? I don't want to, mess up and start speaking about something else. What is the exact question?
What they were going back about was Sarah being Abraham's cousin.
Okay, and then he spoke on that he had said it was his sister.
Correct.
And that was him. That was supposed to be him. And I'm going off the top of the head, Esther, or anybody else. So don't hold me to word for word scripture. I'm over explaining the story from my memory. I'm not going to the scripture over this because we all didn't sit down here and pray and ask to go into the right direction and ask for his guidance. So I'm just going off of this as just a conversation. Well, from what I remember, it was the point of Sarah was so beautiful that they were, or something like that, where she was so irresistible that the people would be jealous, or he knew he would have got killed or something like that if he would have said that, that was his mate or that's who he was courting or something like that. So he had to say that, for a point of protecting her and protecting himself. But I don't remember them being exactly cousins, but I do remember a part of it. They are of the same lineage. So I don't know if they, how far we would go back to say they were cousins. They say you have to be past fifth generation to be able to do, be with someone that comes from your same lineage. So there might be a point that they're closer than fifth cousins. And I believe that's what Dorsey is talking about. But those are the aspects that we go under now. It could have been second cousins then, it could have been third cousins then, that they would have put that line of who's a cousin and who's not. But by our standards today, I believe that we wouldn't consider them cousins. But by their standards back then, they might have been. So I don't have the book in front of me to say that part, so that's why I'm not disputing that. But I do understand that when he says that you're Semitic or Shemitic, that means that you don't really mix with the other tribes or the other nations. So he's not, he's in the same wheelhouse, but he's not, people are asking for pinpoints, and you're talking about two different books. And yes, the Holy Bible that people speak on is two different books. You have the Torah, and you have the New Testament, what I call the New Test. You read the Torah, you learn the Torah, and then the New Testament is a test to see if you know what the Old Testament or Torah really meant. Seeing that people are getting really, really confused and pushing the things like Esther was speaking on there and saying, oh, you better really know the Bible. Speak to somebody who really know the Bible. Then the first word that she comes up with is Jesus Christ. Well, that's not his name. The Hamashiach, the messenger. That's not his name. Yeshua Hamashiach. So when people could, I don't dispute it. I know what people say, but when you start saying you better know what you're saying or read it, then you should be a person that's addressing the Most High or any of his what would I call him? Anything that has to do with it, you address it by its real name, and that shows people that you are studied and you're trying to get better, versed in this word. You don't just keep saying the word that doesn't really address them. It just gives people names. Jesus Christ gets people all up in arms, and that's because most of those people don't know his real name. Saying they don't know what to address him as. So what would you do if he came back right now and you said Jesus, oh, he would understand, oh, he would know? No, you had all this time to know his name, and when he gets here you can't even call him by his name. That would be one of the most disrespectful things to do to the King of Kings that there would ever be, is to come up there and call him out of his name. So I've just given people hints on that. If you don't know his name, you might want to go learn his name, because he does say in that word, the power is in his name, to call on him. So what happens when you call on him and you're calling him out of his name? That's disrespect. That's not, oh, let me have this and have that. That's disrespect. So on these different Orthodox Jews that are in the United States, so I just remember kind of the point of the whole discussion, but Orthodox Jews and some Sephardic Jews that's in the United States, when it comes to it, the reason I said that they're European Jews is because they have a total different aspect how they're approaching Judaism. Sephardic Jews, because most Sephardic Jews, because of their relation to the people back in the day, it's not just the religion, it's their culture, where most European Jews are proselytes, and they have taken on the religion. Different means, just like the Constantine with Christians, they have put it to a different point where they listen, they read the Talmud, they read Sephardics do, they read the Talmud, they read different things on how to practice Judaism, rather than as an Israelite, it's part of your culture, it's part of who you are. It's not that I need to have to practice a certain thing all the time. These ceremonies are part of your culture, just like waking up and yawning in the morning and stretching. You don't say, okay, now let me yawn and stretch. No, it just happens that way. Your body automatically does it. It's part of your culture. So there's a big difference between Sephardic Jews and Orthodox Jews. So when you go into Orthodoxy, that's when you start seeing these people. I mean, come on. When did anybody think that wearing a black suit and a little round hat looking like you off of, what was that movie? you wearing this outfit. What does that have to do with loving the Most High Creator? To do with it. These are all customs that have came out of Europe in these different situations. And that's the people that are pressing these issues on voting out here. Now, as much as they were talking about, okay, why would, I heard some people saying, why we need to separate. Even you, Plug, you said we need to worry about our own things. You know what I mean? Like, it ain't that we're hating on nobody, but we need to concentrate on ourselves rather than being all these different issues. Well, that's what I've been, sitting up here speaking about for over the last month. Like, we created, us and parts of Europe created these people. We put them there. We gave them the guns. Most people don't know that all the people that go, so-called Jewish people that go back to this so-called Israel that we let them create, basically when they go back there, the voting situation for who gets to go back and who doesn't, who is considered to be of the Jewish, see that point, it comes in again, DNA and stuff comes from the United States. It doesn't even come from Israel. We're the ones voting on who gets to go back and who gets to have dual citizenship and what people are have lineage there to be able to go back, such as Beta Israel, such as all these different people that have tried to go back. And just like before this work started off, people don't know that there's people that's of Sephardim that are, like the Egyptians and different people that's in that Sahara region don't even let them come back and then kick them out. They say the blood is the blood. Y'all have more blood of the original Israelites than us, but they still are kicking them out and bringing them back in, kicking them out and bringing them back in, and that goes on. Those are votes that are coming from here, and those are votes that are coming straight from Israel. When it comes to how things are going here, these people have got there on a Zionist flip of a turn of coat, really, and that's land for the Jewish people. Hitler had the same thing. He called it Lebensraum. He called it land for the German people. There was a colonial push that came out of them in 1885 or something around there. I know it started, and then it just kept pushing. And that is the results in that what I call the 1948 people. It was a Zionist push for that. So that same Zionist push of 1948 are the reason why some of these people are over here to this day. Some of these people, just like they say, after the war, America, they pardoned a lot of German scientists and different stuff and brought them over here. Well, a lot of those German scientists that they're talking about were Jewish.
I want to thank the country.
Orthodox Jewish. So they brought them over here, and the same people that you said, they freed Nazis and brought them over here and got the scientists. Well, ain't that crazy? The same scientists that you're talking about were Jewish. They were Jewish. They're making all this stuff to kill people and different. Those were Jewish people. Those are the same people that we're sitting up here. Those are generations left of them that are actually being able to vote right now. So I see them picking whoever is the lesser of two evils for them to still push their Zionist movement. So I think so. All of them have different decisions on all these candidates, but it's just to, like Dorsey was saying, just for them to get what they want out of it. So if he's easier to buy out, then we'll get him. If he's more dominant in social media or something, and we think that that's going to make you turn and understand our cause better, then that's who we're picking. But
thank you, Bree.
Go ahead.
No, I was saying thank you, Bree, for the gift.
But as the farther they go into the point of this actually being on a religious point, Israelites, and this is for Esther because she had a comment. If you're an Israelite, you don't look at Judaism and all that stuff as a religion. You look at those people taking your culture and trying to make a religion out of it. If you're a Jewish person, then because Ish, those are names that the Romans called them. They never called themselves that. They started calling themselves that because that's how the rest of the secular world recognized them. And as proselytes came in, that's what they considered themselves as. So that's where the whole Jewish name comes. That's why you would say, that's why you hear Kanye say, I am Jew. He doesn't say I'm Jew-ish, because any ish is an add-on. Any ish is something that's two things put together. So he says, I am Jew. So that's saying I am what y'all call me. But that's closer to an Israelite than it would be to a Jewish person or what we call Ish, because they know they're not of the original lineage. They might have got some into them over the years, but their original point is being a proselyte. Now, when we come to these people that they're voting for, kind of complicated because there are, like Dorsey was saying, there's sects and everything, like sect, not sex, but sect and everything. So, in Christianity, you know, okay, I'm this, I'm that, I'm this. Everybody's breaking it up, and then they say, but we're all Christians because we all believe this. Then why are you guys all broke up? And when did the Most High Creator ever change the law? They said He's unchanging. So why? How? Only thing that's going to change is us, you know. So and our understanding of things. So that's going on in every single religion that goes on. Me myself, I don't believe in religion. You know what I mean? But I do understand it.
I'm gonna say this and then we're gonna move on. I'm gonna get back to the videos. Esther says, you're filling everybody's head up with apostasy. His name is Jesus. Acts 4:12, 4:10. I know what I'm saying. Yeshua is an acronym. What you're speaking of is not Paleo Hebrew. We don't know his real name. It's Jesus. His name came down from the heaven on the lips of the angel Gabriel. So I'm gonna let you respond to that before we switch back to the show.
That's exactly what I was saying. I knew somebody would. That's what you're gonna say. You're gonna go and then tell somebody else not to use the Bible and speak things out of term and out of context, like, okay, that's not real or that's not true. What you're speaking of is 100% true, but I'm going to give you 100% fact. No J, the Paleo Hebrew, there's no J in the Yiddish. No, there's a word that a letter that kind of transfers to a J in the Yiddish. You know, when the proselytes came, there is no J in the Israelite language or Paleo Hebrew. So everything you just said, if you really mean that, please explain to me, if nobody was using the word J, how that's the real name, Yeshua isn't. Is that? I'm just going to debate that. Explain the J to me that came after Constantine, that came after the Nicene, after the two Nicene projects, that came after all these other saints, that came after the Clementine, that came after all the other books that Constantine made the canon that you're sitting on. There's 88 books. There's 166 books, and they eliminated half of them. And nobody said that the Most High God said that to eliminate anything. He said it is all good. You need to always sharpen your sword, iron amongst iron, and you should all read all of this. You should know by the content. Deals with me or not, but it will leave you well-rounded no matter what. I want her to tell me how you're telling me that Jesus is his name, and there was no J even invented at the time. Please explain that to me, and I'll shut up. Because I'm always willing to learn, but I'm also not willing to sit up there and be criticized by somebody that has a biased view. I'm willing to listen, but it seems like somebody else is sitting up here ready to criticize as if they're above the next person. And so say what you say, but like I always say, you better know what you're talking about, else you're going to make yourself look like a fool on it.
All right, man. I appreciate that, Dorsey, man. We're going to move on in the show, man. I appreciate you for calling in. I mean, Tomcat, damn, I just got off the phone, Dorsey.
I thought you had a sense anyway.
Nah, all right now, Tomcat.
And happy Sabbath to everybody, man, and whatever you practice, just make sure you practice. Well, I'm going to tell you like this. Anybody can feel how they want to feel. I know we ain't after dark, so I ain't going to cuss. But if you think that those 10 commandments, if there's something wrong with those 10 commandments, then most likely you need to look in your heart, and there's some wickedness in there. That's the thing I got to say.
All right, now, Top Cat.
All right.
Appreciate Top Cat for that call, man. We finna get back into this show, man. This is Trump saying that Hamas accepted a part of the peace deal. I think he laid out a 20-part peace deal. I think Hamas agreed to 2 of those parts, so it's a step in the right direction. Let's hear it.
That helped me put this together: Qatar, Turkey, Saudi Arabia, Egypt, Jordan, and so many others. So many people fought so hard. This is a big day. We'll see how it all turns out. We have to get the final word down in concrete. Very importantly, I look forward to having the hostages come home to their parents and having some of the hostages, unfortunately, you know the condition they're in, come home likewise to their parents, because their parents wanted them just as much as though that young man or young woman were alive. So I just want to let you know that this is a very special day, maybe unprecedented in many ways. It is unprecedented, but thank you all, and thank you all to those great countries that helped. We were given a tremendous amount of help. Everybody was unified in wanting this war to end and seeing peace in the Middle East, and we're very close to achieving that. Thank you all, and everybody will be treated fairly.
Damn, chat, they saying Japan's LPD elects Sanae Takachi as the new leader, and she's likely to become the first female prime minister in Japan. That's crazy. Damn. That is crazy, Chad. Alright, man, we finna move on, though. Alright, chat, we into it, man. My bad. I'm sitting here with my damn mouth open looking around. My bad, chat.
More important, the pain and the truth of what I'm talking about and what led me to that tweet, or the tweet itself?
Both can be true.
Because
the problem you have is, I think you've acknowledged.
One tweet.
I think you've acknowledged that the wording of the tweet
like 50
was offensive.
Years.
Yes, I understand, but you know the damage it caused, and I
understand that was offensive.
And I think that you have accepted.
The damage
you probably
it
shouldn't have
caused
phrased it that way.
No. You as a white person are so stuck on the idea that what I said was offensive, which is a very caring approach. You're not sticking on the fact. You have not unpacked what happened with those contracts. I've said that, but you didn't ask me another question about it. That means there's an agenda.
Absolutely not.
Inside of your platform.
I have repeatedly said to you that I'm sure I do not disbelieve that you've had contract business issues with various managers, accountants, and so on. My argument is that when you
just
do it,
me
or
other me's.
I'm sure many other artists in the music business. Yeah, of course.
You know why you're sure? Because you don't care to do the research because it doesn't affect you.
No, it's because you said.
Have you done any research?
No. Yeah, let me explain to you. I'm not doubting what you're saying.
You don't care.
I do care.
You don't care about me. You don't care about my people. I care about me. I care about my people. So it's for me to stand up. And God forbid I step on someone's toes while I'm at it.
It's not someone's toes. You stepped on the entire Jewish people's toes with a very deeply inflammatory tweet, which I think you've now accepted. You shouldn't have phrased that way. It's taken a bit of time to get there, but I think you have accepted that, right?
Have you accepted that you put no effort into understanding how I got there?
I don't think, honestly,
10 years from now.
Honestly, I don't think there is any...
You're going to apologize to me about this interview.
I'm not.
You're going to apologize to me about this interview within the next 10 years.
No, I'm not, because here's the thing.
Y'all think Pierce ready to apologize? This interview was like 2 years ago. So y'all think the tide is turned now? Kanye said all of this shit. Now we got people saying it's a genocide and this and that, and the tide is turned. That y'all think Pierce is looking back on this interview, listen to what Kanye told him.
No effort into understanding how I got there.
I don't think, honestly,
10 years from now.
Honestly,
I don't think there
You're
is
going to
any.
apologize to me about this
No, I'm not.
interview.
I'm not.
You're going to apologize to me about this interview within the next 10 years.
No, I'm not, because here's the thing.
Mark my words.
I don't doubt you've had.
It's very one-sided.
No, it's not.
It's
No, it's
very
not.
white-sided.
Oh, come
it's
on,
very
Jay.
one-sided.
Don't-
It's very like.
It's
yeah.
not white-sided. I'm not doubting you've had business issues. I'm saying the way to respond to that is
You
not
keep
to
on
go
saying
public
me.
to millions
No,
of
not
people
me.
and
You
say
keep
you're
on
going DEFCON
siloing
3
it.
on Jewish
No,
people.
millions of people. Millions of people have had DEFCON 3 on their contracts.
Right. You
Millions
didn't.
of
You
people
didn't
have
say
went
that.
home to their
You
girl
didn't say
and
that.
said, millions of people. Well, I opened it up. Now I didn't, but now I'm saying it now.
Okay.
Sir.
So now what
Now
I
I'm
think you
saying
should
it
say.
Bro, this nigga Kanye, bro. Like, I'm not gonna lie, bro. No matter how you feel about Kanye, bro, this nigga is entertaining, bro. Like, that's one thing for sure. Two things for certain. This nigga Kanye is entertaining, bro. Like, nigga, what? I'm saying it now.
DEFCON 3 on their contracts.
Right. You
Millions
didn't.
of
You
people
didn't
have
say
went
that.
home to their
You
girl
didn't say
and
that.
said, millions of people. Well, I opened it up. Now I didn't, but now I'm saying it now. Sir.
Okay, so now what
Now
I
I'm
think you
saying
should
it
say,
now.
I think you should say to the Jewish people, I'm sorry for the offensive language I used in that tweet. I wouldn't do that again. This is what I really meant. I think people would respect you if you said that. I don't know why you can't just say that.
Let me. You know when I'll say it. When I sit down with the people who write out the contracts for the NBA and for the NFL and for professional music and for acting contracts. We need to go to the top lawyers, the top execs, the owners of the stadiums, the owners of the football teams, and the owners of the record labels. And we're going to put them all in one room. And we're going to read let's go top 10 in each one of these categories, right? Let's read Michael B. Jordan's
Okay, but why would
contract.
any of that?
Let's
Okay,
read
but
Aaron
why would
Donald's
any of
contract.
that? Why
bro,
would any of
hey,
that?
bro, I ain't finished. I ain't finished my sentence.
Nothing you're saying has anything to do with regret.
Hey, boy.
Don't call me boy.
Don't finish. I told you. Don't treat me like a boy then. I'm
I'm
going
not.
to finish my sentence of my idea.
Nothing you're saying has got anything to
You're
do
not,
with the
okay?
tweet.
Cool. I was in the middle of a sentence, boy. Okay, so are you going to allow me to finish my sentence?
Yes. If you then answer my question.
Okay, so I'm going to tell people when I would apologize for the tweet. This is what has to happen first. I need all of the top executives in Hollywood. I need the top executives at the NBA and at the NFL. We'll do those two sports specifically. And I want the top executives in music, dealing with publishing, dealing with like Spotify and Apple Music and Universal Music and all the top let's do like 5 top execs there. And I want to look at the top 10 earners in each one of those fields' contracts openly. We want to compare and contrast the contracts. And then once we open that conversation, and we need to do it on a platform live with lawyers asking questions, and we'll have the top lawyers like a Johnny Cochran, Robert Kardashian level legal team, looking at all of these contracts together. After that moment happens, then I will say, I'm sorry.
Okay, if that's your position.
That's clear. Interview adjourned. Love you.
Okay, that's the end of the interview. I mean, I just get the feeling from you that you're obviously a complex character, brilliant in many ways, fascinating, like I say, compelling. You have a huge appeal to millions of people around the world. It just seems to me that occasionally...
No, Lori, this is from 2 years ago. We revisited it because a lot of the world's views have changed. Piers Morgan was trying to get Kanye to apologize for his anti-Semitic comments, but I don't think in 2025 Piers Morgan is going to ask anybody to apologize. I'm just going to keep it real. I don't think whatever Kanye said about that back then, Piers was pressing him to apologize, and Kanye said in 10 years from now, you'll come apologize to me and say I'm right. So with the current state of the world changing, I wanted to revisit this interview to see the difference in opinion then to now.
Suddenly, your mouth
Kanye was stepping out here on a limb by his damn self at this time.
gets you into trouble, and that perhaps, on reflection, sometimes you look back and wish you hadn't said things. Is that accurate?
Nah, not really. Because I say are on behalf of God. Like, it's not always godly because I'm a man, but God is definitely using me. You're Catholic faith?
I am.
What's
Yes,
your background?
I am
What's your
Catholic.
religious?
Catholic, yeah.
Well, we're working for God here, and it's just like with black people now with entertainment, we're coming into wealth, but all the other, black people with anywhere near my amount of wealth would never cross the lines of, taboos inside of the media that I would, that actually we used to in rap. All these words, we used to say these, so it's all these like words that are being removed from our vocabulary, words that evoke emotion. Don't you feel like the salt is being taken out of our food? Look at Dune. The people who control the salt controlled all the money. And people are trying to control the salt, and it's salt in our language. That's why I will not apologize for having a bit of salt in my words. I will say, hey, this can be improved on, but it's like, hey, look, I'm an update. You're looking at the gods.
This nigga said, I'm an update, bruh. I'm an update. It's crazy. I'm an update. It's crazy, bro.
iPhone
What,
100.
nigga?
We are God's iPhone, right? If you think about it, I put all this money into renovation, and then there goes the neighborhood. Drake moves down the street.
What it do, Solo?
And that's when I knew God was funny. These 14 kids are killed in Chicago every week, and there's no.
All right, man. We finna get the hell up off of that, man. That's a long ass interview. Where the hell is That's crazy, man. Kanye was saying that wild shit. Damn, Chad. Oh yeah, Top Cat. I know you called in, Top Cat, but I forgot to tell you that I still need them push-ups because Diddy got 4.5 years. You know what I'm saying, Top Cat? You do owe the chat them push-ups. So we gonna figure out when we gonna come on a panel. If y'all wanna do a panel tonight, I'll do a panel. If y'all gonna come up here and kick it with me, we'll do a panel tonight. So Top Cat can do these push-ups, chat. Top Cat owe us some push-ups. He sure do. He sure owe us some push-ups, chat. You damn right he owe us some push-ups.
I think we need to give help to these encampments, and the more we treat them as criminal and try to clear them away, the worse it's going to be for people.
When we have tourists coming in, it's so embarrassing because I have a lot of people who come to LA and they're like, oh, let's go see the Hollywood Boulevard, and you see people pooping on the streets, tents, and they're like, this is a third world country.
Being poor is a choice. Step forward if you agree with the prompt.
All right, chat. Do y'all think being poor is a choice?
Well, I currently am poor. Very, very, very poor.
Yeah, I think I'm finna yeah, I'm finna end this live chat and I'm gonna start another live, but I'm gonna do it in the regular mode, like the big square mode. I wanna try live with the big square mode. Um, so yeah, we're gonna watch this on a different live. I'm finna just switch the live. But look, chat, y'all won't get notifications because I already been live today. When I go live in the regular mode, y'all not gonna get notifications. I gotta get some practice in going live in the regular mode because I'm finna give me a desk. You know what I'm saying? Like where y'all can see my laptop. You know, I like the people, the streamers get up here, you know what I'm saying? And like I'm a streamer, so you know, y'all see I got the setup now, but I'm gonna do a different show. Like I wanna do a show too to where like yeah, y'all see me where we not watching clips where y'all get just raw my thoughts and opinions. I'm gonna get like 2 or 3 topics, you know, spend like 30 minutes, 40 minutes, you know what I'm saying, doing me, you know, a show. You know. But I gotta get ready. I need a desk, but I need some, you know, other shit too. I'm on a desk right here, but I will have to have my phone, the camera behind the desk. That way y'all can see me, y'all can see the desk, you know what I'm saying? And then I can host the show, you know, giving my thoughts and opinions and shit. But I gotta get out of vertical mode to do that. Like I like vertical mode and we have fun, but when I do the show, I'm gonna have to do it in a regular style. Yeah, I'm gonna have to do that shit in a regular style. So we'll probably watch this right here in the regular style. It probably won't be a lot of people in there. It's the weekend. It might be some people in there, but yeah, I'm gonna get some practice in. I'm still learning too, man. I'm still learning too. You say you can't steal jewels on horizontal. Yeah, I know. Damn, I forgot about that. Yeah. But no, it don't matter, man. I gotta get some practice in, chat. I'm still growing myself. I'm still figuring it out too. I'm still figuring it out. But we'll be back here in a minute, chat. Double tap the screen, shut the live out, and I'll see y'all in a minute.